Hey there, mathematicians, and welcome back to our day 2 of our multiplication lessons. Today we are going to review arrays and how we can use those pictures of arrays to help us with multiplication. Remember, an array is an arrangement of objects or pictures that come in rows. Remember, that goes side to side, and columns. And that's your pictures that go up and down. And today we're going to take a look at lots of examples of arrays. We are going to flip over to BrainPop and watch the video of arrays with Moby. And then there's going to be a little activity page that I'd like you to try today on looking at pictures of arrays and seeing if you can figure out the repeated addition number sentence that matches the array picture, and then turn it into the multiplication number sentence to be able to find the product at the end. So here's just a few examples of those arrays that we looked at yesterday. We got some fun arrays up here with some aliens or spaceships, cupcakes, bumblebees. We have apples, trucks, ladybugs, and even just these array pictures down here with the circles. Those were kind of similar to the ones that we practiced yesterday together. But notice all of those arrays have that nice arrangement of pictures that go in equal rows and equal columns. And also look at the pictures that are in there too, right? Those pictures are all equally spaced and they're all the exact same size and exact same shape. So whenever you see an array, they're kind of easy to spot because it will make a nice equal shaped rectangle or a nice equal shaped square. So that's the good thing about arrays too, is they make that nice looking shape. All right, so let's pop over to BrainPop Jr. and we are going to watch Mr. Moby Max. And we are going to learn a little bit about arrays from our robot Moby, okay? And then we'll head back over and practice some more arrays together before I send you off to try out the activity page today.
How many muffins do we have for the bake sale? Wait, Moby, you don't have to count each muffin. That'll take a long time.
And that is the nice thing about multiplication, is that if you have a large number of objects that maybe you needed to organize or count, if you set it up in the arrangement of an array, it can make it a little bit easier to figure out the total number of objects. So that, I think, is what she's going to suggest here to Moby.
You can use an array to help you count. What is an array? An array is a set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. I can organize these muffins into an array. I can group them into 3 rows with 2 muffins in each row. Or I can group them in a different way. I can make 2 rows with 3 muffins in each row.
And I did mention that yesterday just quickly in our lesson as well, is that multiplication is very similar to addition, right? So you could take that same multiplication number sentence and you could flip it around and you would still end up getting the same product. So she first made those 3 rows of 2, and so that would be 3 times 2 equaling the 6 muffins. Or she could flip it and now it would be 2 rows of 3, right? And that would also still equal 6. So that's the nice thing about learning your multiplication facts, is that once you know 2 times 3, you also know 3 times 2, and they can just interchange either direction and you still get the same product. So that makes it kind of nice too with multiplication.
Right. You can also make 1 row with 6 muffins. You can find arrays in a ton of places. You could find them in a muffin tin, or an ice cube tray, a pack of soda, a checkerboard, a window pane, and on a phone. Arrays make counting easier. But how do arrays help you count? Sometimes counting things one by one can take a long time, but arrays arrange things into equal groups so you can count sets. Let's see. There are 2 rows of daffodils, and there are 4 daffodils in each row. You can write a number sentence to find the total number of daffodils. 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. There are 8 daffodils. It's faster to add doubles than to count each flower one by one. There are 3 rows of tulips, and there are 3 tulips in each row. We can add to find the total. 3 plus 3 plus 3. Let's see. 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, and 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. Arrays can also help you multiply. When you multiply, you put equal groups together to find the total. Multiplication is an operation, just like addition or subtraction. But how do arrays help you multiply? We need to pick up 12 eggs for Grandpop. How many eggs are in there, Moby? There are 2 rows, with 3 eggs in each row. You can multiply to find the total number of eggs. First, write the number of rows. That's 2. Then write the number of eggs that are in each row. That's 3. The X symbol means to multiply. This number sentence tells you that there are 2 sets of 3. So the answer is 6. There are 6 eggs in that carton. Nope, it really doesn't matter what order you multiply, Moby. An array of 2 rows with 3 in each row is the same as an array with 3 rows with 2 in each row. There are still 6 eggs. They're just organized in a different way. Grandpop wanted 12 eggs. We only have half a dozen eggs now. Let's see. There are 2 rows of 6 eggs. That means there are 2 sets of 6. So 2 times 6 is equal to 12. That's exactly how many eggs we need. See, Moby, arrays can make counting and adding a lot faster. But I'm not sure we made enough muffins for the bake sale. I think that's enough, Moby.
Moby took care of that, didn't he? He made all those extra muffins. So helpful. But I like what she said at the end of that video too, is that multiplication does make it a little bit easier and faster to count a really large objects of things. Instead of adding everything one by one, if you know how to multiply and you can use those array pictures to help you add and kind of multiply all those numbers together, it just makes it a little bit faster and easier. Multiplication is just a little bit quicker of an operation than using addition all the time. Now, the activity page that I'm going to have you try later today
Activity.
is under this same. Sorry, guys, I had a little tickle in my throat. The activity page here is along with that same arrays video, and I will link this activity page into your lesson. When you click on the activity page, it's going to pull up some different pictures of arrays that look like this. And what I'd like you to try today is look at those pictures of arrays. You are going to try to figure out the repeated addition number sentence that would match each array. And then you will take that repeated addition number sentence and see if you can turn it into the multiplication number sentence. And that way you can multiply those numbers together and get the product. So sorry, guys, I have a little tickle in my throat. It won't go away. So we're going to practice just a few arrays together. We're going to hop back over to our slideshow. And then after we do just a few more examples together, then I'd like you to either print out this activity page and then you can complete it on the paper, Or if you would like to just copy these pictures of arrays onto your notebook or a piece of paper, you could do that as well. And then just jot down the repeated addition number sentence underneath the picture and the multiplication number sentence along with it. That's totally okay too if you're not able to print it out. I just want you to practice looking at these array pictures, practicing that repeated addition, and also the multiplication number sentence that goes with it. Okay? So let's hop back over to our slides and just take a look at just a few examples of some more arrays here. These arrays are made with some snap cubes. So you can see here we have 3 rows of yellow snap cubes. In each row, there's 3 cubes snapped together. And so for this repeated addition, you'd want to add each row together over and over again, right? So you would take 3 plus 3 plus 3, and that would help you to solve 3 times 3, right? You have 3 groups of 3 in each row, and altogether that would give you a product of 9. So 3 times 3 would equal 9. Let's hop over to the red one here. So you have 4 rows of red cubes, and in each row there's 2 snap cubes. All right, so that would mean you're going to add together 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? You have 4 groups of 2's there. And that would help you to figure out 4 times 2, right? You have 4 groups of 2 there. And then altogether, your products would equal 8. All right, let's go to the green snap cubes here. We've got 3 rows of those green cubes, and they're circled there in blue for you, so you can kind of see those rows a little bit better. Off to the side, you can see that each row, it has 4 snap cubes in each row. So then I'm going to take 4 plus 4 plus 4, and that would be my repeated addition. And that would help me to figure out 3 times 4. I've got 3 groups of 4 there. And 3 times 4 would equal 12, right? 4 plus 4 equals 8. 8 plus 4 equals 12. And then our last example here is the blue. We've got 2 rows of blue snap cubes. In each row, we have 6 cubes there. So we have 6 in this row plus 6 in this row. So that would be my repeated addition there, 6 plus 6. Here's also why it's important to know those doubles facts, right? It can help you to add up those rows together a lot quicker. And that would help me to figure out the multiplication sentence of 2 times 6. So I've got 2 groups of 6 there, 2 rows of 6, and that would equal 12, right? Since 6 plus 6 equals 12. All right, so let's just try a couple more together. Up here, we have a picture of some arrays with circles this time. And my first picture has 2 rows, right? Since we have row 1 up there, and then we have row 2. So we are going to call this a 2 by something. Now we'll take a look at the columns. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, right? So we would call this a 2 by 3. Now, if I take a look at each of those rows to help me find that repeated addition, we would have 3 in the first row plus 3 in that second row. And I know that double as well, right? Here's another example of knowing those doubles, why it's important. And 3 plus 3 equals 6. Now, the same name of the array would also match the multiplication sentence. So that's a good thing too, is once you get used to naming the array, it transfers over nicely into that multiplication number sentence. So this would help me to figure out 2 times 3, right? We had 2 rows of 3, 2 groups of 3, and then we now know the answer is 6, right? And that repeated addition helped us figure out the answer as well too, right? We had 3 plus 3, and that equaled 6. All right, so let's hop over to this bottom example here. Let's see how many rows we have. So we'll go side to side first. We've got 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4, and 5. Sorry, guys, I always try to write straight with these markers here on the computer. It's hard when I'm writing it with a mouse on my desk instead of actually using the real markers on our smartboard. So a little bit different, okay? All right, so we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So this one we're going to start off by saying 5 by something. And then if I go up and down for the columns, we have one column over there and two columns. So this name would be a 5 by 2. Now I'm just going to get that repeated addition ready. So remember that repeated addition comes from each row. So you want to take the first row, that's 2, add it to the second row, 2, and then the third row, 2, the fourth row, 2, and the fifth row also has 2, right? It's a 5 by 2. So you're going to have 5 groups of 2s, right? And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 groups of 2s that I added together. All right, so let's skip count these by 2s so we can get the answer. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, and then that name of the array, remember, helps us with the multiplication sentence, right? We've got 5 rows of 2, 5 groups of 2, so that would mean 5 times 2, and now we know the product, right? Our final answer would equal 10. All right, so nice job, guys, on those arrays today. Hopefully that helps you get to know array pictures a little bit better. Hopefully you also understand how to come up with the repeated addition number sentence, and then how to turn that array and repeated addition number sentence into the multiplication sentence. And that way you can start to get to know a little bit about multiplication, how to multiply two numbers together, and then to be able to find the final product. So remember, I want you to go into that BrainPop Junior activity page today. If you're able to print it out, great. You could print it out and then practice those arrays on the page. Or if you can't print it or you don't feel like printing it out, that's fine too. You could always just redraw and copy these pictures onto a piece of paper. Remember, you can also just use circles to make these same arrays on your paper. And then practice that repeated addition number sentence that goes with each of those rows as you add it together. And then flip it into the multiplication number sentence to find the products. All right. Next, after you complete the activity page, all right, then you'll see a second quick little video of me. I will come back on and then I'm going to check the answers to this activity page with you. So I will go step by step with each array and then I'm going to draw it on the whiteboard. And then that way we can just double check all the answers together and make sure that you're understanding how these arrays work for multiplication. All right, guys, good luck on your arrays and I will see you back in just a little bit to check your answers. Have fun.